Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. My Karen girlfriend demands I stop being friends with her dad. After that, am I the jerk for spending my daughter's tuition money? And after that, I moved out while my parents were on vacation. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get to stop her boyfriend from being friends with her dad. Trust me, Reddit boy, you wouldn't have liked my dad at all. He was pretty much the male version of me. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen girlfriend demands I stop being friends with her dad. Me and my girlfriend Corey, who are both 27, have been together for 5 years now. I've known her family for a long time and have formed a good relationship with her dad. We both golf and watch sports together. I consider him a friend. Like 3 years ago, it came out, through a third party, that Corey's mom was having an affair. Her dad moved out and her mom went nuts. I was staying out of it for a bit, but I refused to accompany Corey to her mom's house. I don't mess with cheaters, and just left her mom alone unless it was a big holiday or an important event at her mom's place. This whole time, Corey was pushing her dad to reconcile with her mom. She begged him to try counseling and talked about forgiveness. I don't know what happened, but Corey's dad eventually gave in and went to counseling. They reconciled 2 years ago. Then it became this weird situation where Corey's mom seemed to enjoy bringing up her affair. She would post on social media how forgiveness and the church brought them back together, constantly talking about the power of prayer. As a man, I could see how much her dad hated it. In my opinion, he was only sticking around for the sake of the family. In February this year, Corey's dad left in the middle of the night. According to Corey's mom, her dad told me that he left a note. He moved in with a woman he had been seeing. They're now divorced, and Corey's dad is living with this woman. I've maintained my friendship with him. I told him I can't really blame him as he was in a no-win situation. Corey, on the other hand, has been a nightmare. She's blocked her dad, bashes him to friends and family, gets mad at me for carrying on a relationship with him. She also goes to her mom's house regularly to comfort her mom. None of this she did to her mom whenever she cheated years ago, instead saying that they worked past that together. Last night, I called her a hypocrite in front of her brother, saying that she never blamed her mom, instead preached forgiveness. She never cut off her mom. She never went over to her dad's rental alone to comfort him, only push him to reconcile. She then demanded I stop talking to her dad. I said I'm an adult who doesn't let others dictate their relationships, that me and her dad do not discuss her in any form. We talk about baseball. So no, I wouldn't stop because she wants to be a hypocrite and not hold her mom accountable for what happened. I recommended therapy for her, but was called a jerk for this. I don't think I need to apologize, as calling her a hypocrite is accurate. Am I the jerk? Everyone sucks here. Corey's mom for cheating and thinking things can just go back to normal, but dwelling on the whole situation. She also sucks for being blind to what was going on with her husband. Corey's dad sucks for cheating and then moving in with the other woman. If he left in the middle of the night and moved in with the woman he had been seeing, you think he wasn't cheating? I almost wonder if payback wasn't on his mind. Corey sucks for not owning up to what's been going on and taking sides when it appears that both parents have fidelity and other issues. You for siding with Corey's dad when it appears he was probably cheating on Corey's mom, but saying Corey is a hypocrite when she downplayed her mom's cheating. I don't blame the dad, because the mom was literally just rubbing salt in the wounds after they got back together. It almost seemed like she took it as a victory to hold over his head. Like, I guess he could have broken up before he actually started to date this new woman, but it seems like a relatively insignificant point to me. She wasn't treating it like a romantic relationship anymore. Why should he? I'll agree OP probably is the jerk for blowing up at her a bit, but like you said, she was being the jerk too. Cheating is not okay. If the dad felt like the mom wasn't turning over a new leaf, get a divorce, then get a girlfriend. Sounds like mom and dad had a pretty toxic relationship. You're the jerk. It's weird how you start out saying, I stayed out of it, and then proceed to describe how you did not, in fact, stay out of it. So many comments like this, but you guys are not empathetic. You can condemn what the father did, and that's fair. He cheated. Not even OP is denying that. But the situations are blatantly different. Let's take a look. 1. Mother cheats. There isn't a real motivation, as she later comes back to him crying. She cries because she gets caught, not because she regrets it. Her daughter fully supports her through the separation and together bully the father into reconciliation. Then she proceeds to brag about her victory. Father is in an unhappy relationship. His daughter doesn't care about him, he finds someone else, and then proceeds to escape with his new lover, not looking back. The mother was moved by a selfish and temporary desire. The father was moved by a need to escape a horrible situation. And yes, he could have left before he started dating the other woman, but since the last time when he tried to escape his ex didn't work, you really think that he could do it alone this time? Not the jerk. One way to solve these kinds of issues is to have an open marriage instead of the antiquated just me and you crap. My husband and I have had a happily open marriage for the past 4 years, and it couldn't be better. I get to have all the fun I want with whoever I want, and he doesn't get to complain whatsoever like he used to. He tries to meet women online, but to be honest, he's a pretty average-looking guy, so most women just aren't interested in him. He's only had 2 other partners over the last 4 years, and both of them were maybe around a 2 or 3, when I'm a solid 9 to 10. But again, I get to meet new guys just about every week, while hubby takes care of pretty much all of the house chores. He even had to go no contact with his family because his parents didn't approve of our lifestyle. I've convinced a few of my friends to shift their marriage in this direction also, because I know how happy and fulfilled it makes me. The old way of marriage won't exist anymore eventually. It's so repressive and is only meant to hold us back while only benefiting him. Why were the dinosaurs the lucky ones who got the comet? We deserve it so much more. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or his girlfriend? Please let us know. Am I the jerk for spending my daughter's tuition money? Our daughter is 20, female, and she recently decided to go back to college after taking a year off. She dropped out of college after only a few months, saying it wasn't for her. We adamantly advised against it, but she ended up moving in with her boyfriend and started working in his family's restaurant business. There was still a little north of $30,000 set aside in the account I set aside for her tuition money. My wife and I had been wanting to remodel our kitchen for a while, so we decided to go ahead with that money. Well, now my daughter has decided to go back to college because it didn't work out with her boyfriend and she didn't like any of the jobs she had following that. She was shocked that we had used her college money towards the house, even though we had this conversation before she left. She asked if she could have access to her college tuition account before she moved in with her boyfriend, to which we explicitly said no and said that it was saved for her tuition only and nothing else, and that if she left, we'd use it for something else. She said she thought we were bluffing and didn't actually mean it, and that we need to help her pay for college since we are still paying for her younger brother's yearly tuition. I told her that she needs to work part-time and go to a cheaper place like community college rather than a state school. She's been angry over this and ignoring her mother's phone calls. Her mother has said maybe we can still help her out financially, but we're nearing our retirement age and a little behind our retirement goals, so I don't want to take away from our savings just because my daughter made some bad choices. I feel like I've given her good alternatives and even offered to let her stay at our house free of rent so that she can just focus on paying for college. Am I the jerk? This situation is harsh on your daughter, but not the jerk. She made a decision to drop out, and with that came you telling her that you'd use that remaining college fund money for something else. I also presume that at the time of her dropping out, she presented her decision as permanent since she said that college wasn't for her, meaning that you don't know how long she would have taken to go back to college if she went back at all. But I thought you were bluffing is a feeble response. You don't get to use that line when you're making a life-changing decision and are given conditions by the people financing you. She just learned a very expensive lesson. OP said in a comment below, having just gotten my youngest into college, I'm no longer in the parenting mood. As a parent, I'm getting odd vibes from that tone and how quickly OP moved to disappear money into a kitchen when apparently they're behind on retirement. Can they? Sure, but as a parent, it's weird to jump to that so fast. Did OP ever investigate whether the boyfriend was mistreating her in any way? Whether he stirred things coercively regarding her dropping out? Whether he was the one pressuring for access to the college account when she asked? Why exactly she left college to work for his family? I was in a relationship like that at that age, and my parents don't know about it to this day. It took me years to even be able to label what happened because I was too young to see it for what it was, and it took me 2 years to get out. How well does OP know what happened? Action should have consequences, and I personally don't think that parents owe their kids a college education. But it's weird to me to put a ton of work into spending years saving 5 figures to give your kid a leg up in life, and then decide you're done when they make very predictably poor decisions at 19 or 20. There are lots of ways to reteach responsibility, like only matching any scholarship funds they earn on their own, or only reinstating partial support after X semesters completed. I would not have saved for years and then washed my hands of helping so fast, personally. ETA. To clarify, no, I'm not asserting that she was mistreated or saying that's the only explanation. I'm asking if OP is actually as checked out as they're saying they are. Do they know why the daughter stopped going? Did they keep an eye out for the danger signs? Did they create a parent-child relationship where their daughter could go to them with hard things? I've seen first and second hand some scary situations that college students get into, ranging from run-of-the-mill short-sightedness to things like mental illness, learning disability, addiction, PTSD from on-campus attacks, and so on. Given that those things are a reality, what does OP consider their role to be? Or are they done? Parenting is more than deciding whether to bankroll or not. A parent can let their kid suffer the consequences of deciding to drop out, sure. But if the kid was struggling and the parent didn't create a feeling of safety growing up, didn't check in regularly, has no idea what's really happening in their kid's life, I'm not going to accept their framing of the situation as the fairness of a financial choice. Info needed. You spent $30,000 on a kitchen remodel? That's not retirement goals, and she only took a year off, and you spent all of it already? I don't know. I actually think you're the jerk for not having the foresight or consideration that she might regret the boyfriend thing and spending the money that quickly. A lot of kids make mistakes during college, especially because it was just a year off. You didn't need to jump to using that money. I get she made the choice and the mistake over a boy, but you could have been a safety net for her. Parents are supposed to account for the fact that kids make stupid mistakes and choices. You took it as an opportunity to make sure she can't bounce back quickly over something cosmetic and superficial, and you did it really quickly, which is kind of gross. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or their daughter? Please let us know. She made her bed, now she gets to lie in it. Enjoy your new kitchen, you deserve it. I moved out while my parents were on vacation. I, 20 female, have 3 siblings who live at home. 3 brothers, one who's 22, one who's 15, and one who's 12. My older brother does not work and does not go to school. My middle and youngest brothers are in middle and high school. I've been taking care of them for about 6 years now. My parents both work. I'm the only one who cleans and makes food and takes care of the dogs. I have access to a car that I share with my brother, but he takes it to go see his friends and hook up with randoms. So I've had to bring home groceries on the bus because, oh yeah, I also do the grocery shopping. I've tried talking to my parents about it, but they say that my brother is finding himself, and the younger ones have to concentrate on school. I'm in my 3rd year of college, and it's wrecking me. My boyfriend, who's 24, has talked to his parents, and they're letting me move into the apartment over their garage. He will be paying the rent for the apartment. He lives at home rent-free, but he also graduated and has a great job, so we talked about it, and it is fair. We are committed to each other, but we are way too young to think about moving in together or getting married. I'm not saying that this is too young for anyone else. We just know what we want in life, and until I get my nursing degree and get a job, we aren't ready. My parents went away this weekend for NASCAR in Vegas. It's their 3rd vacation this year. I do not begrudge them for their holidays. They both work hard, but I am tired of being an unpaid nanny/dog sitter. So I grabbed my laptop, clothes, and a few other things that I've been gifted. I waited for my older brother to get home, and I left. I told him I was going out for milk, but my boyfriend was waiting in the car around the corner. He started texting me about 20 minutes later saying he needed the car. I didn't take the car. I left all the keys on the counter, even my house keys. My grandparents pay for my education, so there's literally nothing my parents can hold over me. I let him know I wasn't coming back, and I let my parents know after the last race that I had left him in charge of the younger kids and bailed. They drove straight home instead of spending the night partying and driving home today. Everyone is mad at me for being so immature and thoughtless. I just don't care anymore. I talked to my grandfather, and he says that I'm right, and my brothers can look after themselves. My mom keeps calling and complaining that the house is a mess. I was only gone for 9 hours before they got home, but my brothers are pigs. My older brother is saying that I'm a jerk because my parents are making him do everything that I used to do. I cannot find it in myself to give a hoot. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. You keep doing and being who you are, and you'll always be a fantastic person. I'm sorry for the attitudes of your parents and brothers. Maybe they'll change, maybe they won't. But by not being there, they will have to face up to all you did around the house and for them. I'm sure you'll find that almost everyone reading your post will be mentally sending hugs and support to you. To your brother, let me get this straight. You never stood up for me when I was living there. You never helped me with all of the things our parents expected me to do. And you regularly monopolize the car, so I had to carry groceries home on public transportation. Why do you expect me to do more for you than you did for me? Especially when I was stuck in that position for years, and you've only been in that role for about a week. To your mother. Mom, I tried to talk to you for years about the unfair burden you were placing on me to clean up after my brothers, not to mention all the other chores you expected me, and only me, to do. You had opportunity after opportunity to come to a compromise, so now it's yours and Dad's problem, not mine. I now consider the topic closed. So, is there something else you would like to talk about? Otherwise, I'll say goodbye for now. And if she continues trying to complain, say goodbye and hang up. Don't stay on the line letting her continue to go off on you. Not the jerk, and good for you for getting out of that situation. Am I the jerk for telling my brother's girlfriend the entire family can't stand her? I'm 23, female. My entire family is shallow. From a young age, my parents stressed to us the importance of looks and appearances. Everyone in the family either models or does some kind of sport to remain fit. The same is expected of any future spouse we bring in. Last year, my brother Ben, 28, male, introduced us to his girlfriend, Gia, 26, female. Gia is sweet, but she is the total opposite of what my brother used to date, with the main difference being her weight. Her size, unfortunately, warranted a lot of nasty comments from my family. Most are said behind her back, while some are said in a joking tone in front of her. The family doesn't shut up about how Ben deserves better and how Gia is not up to their standards. Over the year they've been together, Ben did little to nothing to stop our family from teasing Gia behind her back, only stepping in when they've gone too far, like photoshopping her face onto animals and making prints of it. I've had multiple conversations with my brother about the topic, and Ben admitted that although he doesn't find Gia attractive, she is a great partner and will someday make an amazing mother, so he's willing to overlook her lacking. I was disgusted by him. A month ago was my cousin's wedding, and while the entire family took pictures together, Gia was asked to step back and ushered into a different room. The reason she was given is that, until marriage, no one was allowed to join family pictures in case of a breakup, which I guess some families do, but ours never did. They never had any issue with Ben's previous partners joining pictures, only Gia. After the wedding, I decided that enough is enough and asked Gia to meet up privately for a conversation. When we met up, I showed her all the text messages I gathered of family members insulting her, and I showed her how Ben did nothing to defend her and even joined in on the fun. I told her that I'm sorry she had to find out this way, but my entire family doesn't like her, and I think she deserves a lot better than Ben, considering he did nothing to stop their behavior. Gia looked sad at first, before telling me that I'm a jerk for showing her the texts and that she's not planning on breaking up with her boyfriend, so she would rather remain oblivious to how his family viewed her. I later got a call from Ben also going off on me for telling Gia that the whole family doesn't like her for something that she can't control, aka her appearance, and it would have been better for everyone involved if she remained oblivious. They're still together and ignore me whenever I see them, which makes me think that I'm a jerk and I shouldn't have said anything. Not the jerk. You did the right thing. The truth hurts, so instead of accepting the truth, it sounds like Gia is just going to blame you instead. That sucks, but you can't control others' stupidity. Not the jerk for trying to protect her by letting her know the truth. I feel sad that she's willing to tolerate this behavior. It sounds like her self-esteem is so low that she's willing to accept it because she thinks she can't do any better. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or Gia? Please let us know. Well, that was sad. Am I the jerk for asking my sister to remove her pregnancy announcement before we announce ours? I'm 26, male, and my wife is 24, female. We're currently expecting our first baby. As of right now, my wife is 19 weeks along, and we put off announcing it to our extended family and friends on social media until we hit the halfway point at 20 weeks. We did, however, tell our parents and our siblings on both sides. My sister, 34, female, Anna, and her husband have been trying for a baby for a few years now. And since she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and has been on medications for it, it's been tough for her to conceive. Anyway, yesterday, Anna announced on social media that she's expecting and she's about 12 weeks along. I called her to congratulate her and get more details, and our conversation did not go well. Her answers to my questions didn't all make sense, and she mentioned having passed her glucose tolerance test, which doesn't happen until around 24 weeks of pregnancy. I know because my wife had scheduled hers already. When I told her that, she called me dumb and said I didn't know what I was talking about. Why was I interrogating her? Can I just be happy for her? Then she hung up. My brother-in-law called later last night and told me that Anna isn't really pregnant and that she was just completely devastated that I was having a baby and she wasn't, and this is how she was dealing and processing my wife's pregnancy. He said that he would tell her to take down the posts. Today, Anna called me and told me she won't take the pregnancy announcement down because of the attention she received from it and how it made her feel good. She told me to make our announcement and then she would announce that she lost hers a week later. I asked why go through with all the lies rather than just take it down and move on from it. She said, "Because I'm bipolar, I might not have a baby and it's not fair to me. Stop being so narcissistic and just let me have some of the spotlight that I deserve but probably will never have." I got upset and told her she needs to take it down and talk about this with her therapist to better process everything, and she continued to yell at me, call me names, and say really bad things about my unborn baby, saying that she hopes my wife doesn't even have it. I hung up. My parents are texting me saying that I should have just let her continue this facade her way because she is bipolar, but I just can't allow her to be this way. I feel like she's using her diagnosis as an excuse to pull off a big lie such as this. But should I have let her? Am I the jerk? Update. My wife called me in tears because she realized that the ultrasound picture that Anna included in her post is our baby's 12-week ultrasound that we shared with our immediate family. Update 2. Thank you everyone for your input and advice. Yesterday was just pretty crazy, so I didn't have time to respond until now. My brother-in-law was able to take down the post because he said he refused to lie to his family and friends over this. They got into a massive fight and my sister was brought to the ER for making dangerous statements. She was admitted a few hours ago and I'm hoping they can help her and give her the medical attention she needs. She's refusing to talk to any of us now, but last thing she told my brother-in-law was that she is really pregnant. And how can we all betray her like this? I can't cut her off because she is my sister and we were close growing up. I think I will just severely limit our contact for now until things get better for her. As of now, we definitely will never trust her to babysit for us. And right now, my family is deciding how to handle the social media attention Anna was getting. I don't think they will lie for her, but rather be upfront about it. I'm a bit afraid what stunt she will pull when your baby is born. If she now fakes a pregnancy and loss, how awful. As a woman, she should know better. And being mentally ill is no excuse for being the jerk. Maybe keep your baby away from her. You're not the jerk, and congratulations. Not the jerk. I'm bipolar too, but pretending to be pregnant for attention is really something else. You're not a narcissist, she is. But like someone else said, stay out of it. Announce your pregnancy and let her spin her lies till she gets caught. You're not changing her mind anytime soon, and you can't help someone who doesn't see how they're wrong. And you certainly can't help someone who doesn't want to change. You think 72 degrees is too hot and the AC is broken? Better get used to it. I work on HVAC controls and building automation. I was called over to a lab building to look at something that somebody didn't know how it worked, so they naturally assumed it was a controls problem. As I stood in the hallway and explained to the building manager what the real issue is, a professor stepped out of his office and asks if we're the maintenance guys. His lab is too hot. The building manager politely gestured for me to assist the professor since I'm responsible for the HVAC. This is pretty annoying for me because I'm supposed to work off of tickets assigned by my dispatcher, rather than just doing random jobs for people that pull me aside. I don't want to be rude, so I put a smile on my face and walk into this hot lab. He shows me the thermostat, which is displaying 72 degrees, the normal set point across campus. 72 is the hard limit we set in all offices and labs to conserve energy. A lot of people try to come up with reasons to get it lowered, like their doctor told them they need it lowered for health reasons, or they strain muscles easily and other weird stuff that ultimately never works in the long run. I tell this guy I can't change the set point lower than 72 due to the standards set by the campus. He then takes me to his other lab, which he says is working normally. He takes me to the adjacent lab next door, which is connected to this one through a set of double doors. The adjacent lab was cold, 65 degrees. He shows me the thermostat. It reads 65. I show him the set point is actually 72. I tell him that it's cold because there's a problem with the system and now I need to fix it. He looks at me like he just realized this whole reality just got flipped upside down. I tell him if he needs the set point lower than 72, he needs to email the energy manager and request an exemption. The mechanics fix the problem with the reheat coil and both rooms are maintaining 72 degrees. After lunch, I check my phone for any new work orders. There's one for that same room. I open it up and the professor had wrote in the description of the problem, Room needs to be 68 due to sensitive and expensive equipment. The previous technician did not fix the problem. I closed the ticket and put in the notes, please email the energy manager to request an exemption like I explained earlier. Ticket complete. As the lab scientist, depending on the type of lab it was, I can confirm that 72 degrees is too hot. It makes it harder for cold storage units, and sometimes even incubators, to maintain temperature, and they experience larger fluctuations, which can endanger precious samples and regions. But yes, they needed to take it up with the campus energy manager. I've worked in analytical chemistry and knew where this was going. Yes, the ambient temperature needs to be 68 degrees Fahrenheit and/or 20 degrees Celsius. I also am familiar with the IT ticket system. Stepdaughter smashes her phone for a TikTok challenge and expects me to buy her a new one. I, 45 male, and my wife, 46 female, got married in December of 2019. I have a daughter, Cheryl, who's 16, with my ex-wife. My ex-wife passed when my daughter turned 2. My wife has a daughter with her ex, Natalie, 17 female. Her ex-husband decided he did not want to be a part of Natalie's life. Natalie thinks I will abandon her like her father did, but I promised her that I was here for the long run. Natalie and Cheryl get along okay. Natalie works part-time at a local chain. For Cheryl's recent birthday, I bought her a PlayStation 5 and a few games. For Natalie's, I bought her a brand new iPhone and some clothes. She broke the phone and we got her a new one through warranty. Natalie has claimed multiple times that I favor my daughter over her, which is untrue. Natalie came home from school and showed us the broken phone. It was completely smashed and we asked what happened. She told us a story about a TikTok trend that's going around where people smash their phones and then are rewarded with a new one. My wife and I looked at her and told her that we did not have a new phone to give to her. Natalie freaked out and started screaming at us. My wife told her to go to her room and stay there the rest of the night. My wife's parents called us a few hours later, calling me a horrible stepfather and showing favoritism between the kids. Am I the jerk for not purchasing my stepdaughter a new phone? It's not about the dog toy, it's about sending entitled jerks a message. Backstory: I live in the basement floor of my parents' house. My name is on the title. There was a bit of financial kerfuffle that required my assistance. We have 2 dogs, one bearded collie named Abby, who loves my dad, and a cockatoo named Dexter, who is my bud. Important note about Abby, she is a toy shredder. The only kind of dog toys that last in the house are made of rubber or are too big for Dexter to get a good grip on. A few months back, Dexter and I attended an agility course, and at the end of that course, Dexter was presented with a bucket full of dog toys and allowed to pick one to take home. He pulled out a purple fuzzy monkey thing that had some skinny ropes coming out. Forgive me if I slip and call it a tug monkey. Now, Dexter loved playing with that toy and always remembered where I put it last, so he knew where he needed to sit and stare. When I got this toy, I showed it to both parents and explained that Abby, under no circumstances, is allowed near, as she'd have it shredded in seconds. They both acknowledged and said they get it. I was always very careful to put it up on a shelf when he was done with the monkey, and it never journeyed upstairs. Last month, I went out for a little while, and when I came back, Dexter was frantic. Flung himself at me, and once he was sure I was looking, sat and stared where I had last left the toy. The shelf was empty. Fearing the worst, I went to check upstairs, and there's Abby destroying one of the tug ropes and covered in purple shreds of fabric. I was livid. When questioned, my mother admitted to giving Dexter the toy, and she just forgot the door between halves of the house was open. Before someone suggests a stay in a nice padded room, this is a pattern of consistent disrespect that's been going on since I've moved back and been promised complete autonomy. I put up a whiteboard on the between halves door facing out. If I'm going to be in a Zoom meeting with a camera on or on a call, I used to write in a meeting on a whiteboard. Sometimes this worked, most times it didn't. Mom would just have a laundry basket and decided the stuff needed doing then, and figured my call was surely over. It hasn't been yet. I feel like she's walked in on at least 5 or more calls in the last month where I've been actively speaking and had to mute and cover the camera. I'm only on calls a very small fraction of the day, perhaps an hour or so in total. My boss has commented on distractions and actually had me start speaking less. Did I mention my mother has a tendency to whistle or sing while she's doing chores? Or that one time she derailed an entire meeting because she unleashed a belch so loud it reverberated. This isn't just a quiet blur in the background, it's a real problem. So I load Dexter into my car and we fly to the pet store for an emergency purple monkey replacement. Happily enough, I found the exact same toy. I purchased that and some treats. Crisis averted, right? Wrong. We get back to the house and he zips over to where the other toy was, sitting and longing. I take the tags off the replacement and distract him with the treats, put the fake monkey on the shelf, and when Dexter resumed his post, I gave him the duplicate, which he sniffed and then snubbed before crying and staring at the shelf some more. I'm a patient man. The BS threshold I have with my parents is set pretty high, but seeing that, my heart broke. There was an Arthur fist. I vowed revenge. I went to the hardware store and ordered a steel interior door, the same keypad lock we already have for exterior doors, and some security door hinges. I then had to return the first door and measure first before ordering the correct size. For the next 3 Sundays, my cousins helped me out with getting everything assembled and adjusted while my parents went to church. The 4th Sunday was spent with a soldering iron lobotomizing the digital code lock so it rejected every code entered. Yesterday, we did the door swap and managed to get everything done and cleaned. When my parents left for church, flimsy particle board door was all that stood between my half and theirs. When they returned, steel door with wood facade, code lock, and tamper-proof hinges. Also wound up changing the code for my exterior door. There was wailing and lamentations and gnashing of teeth. How could you? What about laundry? All this for a dog toy? I calmly explained that the door won't stay closed, but when it is closed, it's staying closed. My name is on the deed of the house now. I can make modifications to my space if I want to. My mother wanted to know, what about an emergency? I told her I'd give her the code right now to the new door if she could tell me one situation where minutes mattered. There was hemming and hawing and no actual laundry emergency cited. Why did I spend more than $150 on a door lock only to immediately break it? Because it's got a working deadbolt, which is all I need, and my mother spent 3 hours yesterday trying to brute force the code lock. Why did I spend more than $1,000 on a deadbolt and a door that will sneer at a battering ram? 2 reasons. The first being I was mad and wasn't sure anything less would do the trick, and second is because my sister lurks this subreddit religiously and will likely spread this to the rest of my extended family. Hi everyone! Support our channel by joining as a member today and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.